Hey guys, welcome to my channel and I'm back again with another really interesting video guys. In this video, as you can see on my screen, we are going to talk about AI agents again. So yes guys, if you guys have seen my previous video, there I actually told you in detail what are AI agents and how we can create them. But in this video guys, we are going to take it one step ahead. In this video, we are going to make an AI agent enabled with a RAG pipeline. So yes, today we are going to make an agent, we are going to connect it with a set of documents, and that agent is going to query those documents with the help of the tools that I am going to provide to them. Okay, so I know you guys are excited for this video. Let's get started. So guys, first of all, I just want to recap what is an agent so that you guys know what are we actually talking about. So basically guys, we know that in large language model, what we actually do is we have a model which is trained on billions and billions of parameters, loads of data, and what we can do is we can ask that large language model any type of question or summarization, or we can ask it to perform certain tasks for us, and basically that large language model gives us that answer in a text format. Okay, and nowadays we can also give it multimodality data in the form of images and music as well. But what is an agent? So guys, what is an agent? Agent is basically nothing but a software program that is actually taking a set of tools. Okay, let's say an agent is a calculator and it has got multiple tools, like it has got a multiply function, an addition function, a division function, exactly right. And what that agent gets as an input is basically a text. Okay, so let's say I give my agent a text that please add these two numbers. Now that agent, which has got tools like addition, multiplication, subtraction, etc., will take that text as an input, use the large language model as an interpreter, and it is going to find out the tool that it is going to use to actually execute that task. So you can see on my screen here is basically it takes a input, the large language model interprets that input, it uses that input to look up the tools that it has. So for example, in our case, it is going to look up all the mathematical functions. Finally, it is going to select the correct tool with the help of the LLM model, and then it is going to execute that tool or execute that function and generate the final response to us. Okay. So this is what an agent is. An agent is basically taking an action to perform a certain task, and to perform that task or to take that action, it is actually using a bunch of tools which it selects with the help of a LLM model. Okay, so now we know what an agent is. We have done the recap. Why do we need an agent enabled with a RAG pipeline? So as I gave you the use case, so for example, in our use case, we have got a calculator use case, right? We just need to calculate a bunch of functions. But this is the simplest use case, guys. So because a large language model is generally trained on billions and billions of amount of data. So it basically 100% definitely knows how to calculate certain numbers, how to add or how to subtract, etc. Right? But what function might not be aware of, or what a LLM model might not be aware of, is certain data that we have got in documents which are not present on any Google directory, or which are private to you, or which are secure to your organization. Now what you want is you want to actually look into those arguments, but you want to actually look into those documents but perform certain tasks which are sort of generic, right? So let's say I have got a document which has got certain numbers in it, right? Let's say I have got budget data, I have got my country's budget, which is very secure, which is very private. I don't want to share it with the world right now because the budget has not come up yet, right? But I want certain calculations to be done on those documents. So in this scenario, I definitely need a RAG pipeline, because here I am going to compile those documents in a directory, and I am going to give my agent, my AI agent, access to that directory. Now my AI agent is going to take that data from those documents, and with the help of the generic tools that I have provided it, it can perform the calculations on that data and it can actually give us the answer, right? So this is the perfect use case for any agent to be enabled with RAG pipeline. So now guys, we know what is an AI agent. We also know why do we need a RAG pipeline with an AI agent. It is time to actually code this out. I know you guys are excited for it. So let's go to my Colab notebook. So as you can see guys, this is my Colab notebook. And first of all guys, what we need in this scenario to create any agent or to attach any RAG pipeline to it, we need certain libraries. As I told you before, we are going to use Llama Index library in it. So you can see on my screen that we have installed Llama Index groq, because we are going to use a large language model. And to use that large language model, we will be using an AI inference tool, and that AI inference tool is called as groq. And the groq interface with Llama Index needs these libraries installed, which is Llama Index LLMs groq and then the core groq library. Now we also need to have certain embeddings, because we are working with a RAG pipeline. We are going to have a set of documents, but your AI agent or your LLM model won't understand those documents in text. It needs those documents to be converted into a vector so it can actually understand those documents. And for those conversions, you need embeddings. And for that embedding to be created, we need an embedding LLM model, and that embedding LLM model is further present in this library which we are going to use, that's Llama Index Embeddings Hugging Face library. Okay, and this library we'll use to actually import that embedding model. So now we have got all the installations. It is time for the imports. The imports are pretty straightforward guys. We are going to use a simple directory reader. And why do we need a simple directory reader guys? Pretty straightforward. We have a directory of documents and we need to read that directory, right? So for that we need simple directory reader. We need vector store index also guys, because what we are going to use is we are going to convert those documents into a vector store. Okay, and that vector store will actually become the source of truth for us, for our large language model. Our large language model is going to basically query that vector store. Okay, and to convert that we need a vector store index object. So that's why there's import. Then we need to do some global environment settings, and for that we need the settings object. And the last thing but not the least, we need the Hugging Face embedding class to be imported, because this Hugging Face embedding class we will use to actually import or have our embedding model included in this Colab notebook, and that embedding model ultimately will be used to actually convert my documents into a vector store index. Okay. Now, important thing, we need a large language model, right? And as I told you, we'll be going to use a groq library for that. So I have got the groq API key already here in my Colab secret store, and I'm just using that API key here. Once you have got the API key, then all you need to do is import the groq class like this, and then you create the groq class object in which you pass the model name and you pass the API key. And this will give you your LLM object. Okay, here you can see I am using a 70 billion parameter Llama 3.1 model. You can definitely use any of the models that is present in the groq, given the fact that it is definitely a text model in this case, and it has some good context length as well, right? Token length, I mean. So now you have got your large language model, and now we set that large language model as my global model. Okay, so that if you don't set it guys, what is going to happen is that Llama Index by default thinks that you are using OpenAI's model. Okay, so if you don't want to use the OpenAI's paid model, then if you want to use a free model, you have to better to set it as a global LLM. Okay. Now, as I told you, we need an embedding model. For that, we use Hugging Face embedding class. We create its object, and all you need to do is pass the model name. And the model that we are going to use is the sentence transformers model. We are going to use the mini LM model guys, because it's just faster to load. But what you can do is you can use the full sentence transformers model as well if you are using a GPU or if you have a higher memory than me. but I'm going to use a basic free Colab notebook, so this is actually enough for me. Now we have got all the models in hand, right? It is time for us to start reading our documents, but we need the document for it. We need data for it, right? So what I have done in my Colab notebook, I have created a data folder and I have actually uploaded the 2023 Canadian budget PDF in it. Okay, so this is basically a PDF file which has got some numbers which are related to the Canada budget. And what I am using here is a simple directory reader which basically goes to this folder and loads all the data in the documents object. Okay, you can have multiple documents in it. I have just uploaded one single document, where you can actually upload multiple PDFs and it will read all of them and place it in the documents object. Okay, then what we do is we create a vector store index from these documents. Okay, and as I told you that to actually convert your documents into vectors, you need an embedding model. So exactly that what we are doing. We are using vector store index dot from documents, and we pass the documents and we pass the embedding model. And finally we have got an index. So what an index is, guys? Index is like a directory. So think of it in this way, that you have got a bunch of phone numbers and you want to basically find out some phone number from them. You can do it pretty easily if you have those phone numbers in a directory, indexed or labeled by alphabets or by some other feature, right? Then it's easier for you to sort your number out and find it out quickly. And that is what vector store index basically does. It sorts out all your documents and put it in a sort of a directory, and that directory serves as an index, and it's easier or quicker to actually read from those index. Okay, so that's what an index is. And now we will use this index or this directory as a query engine. And what we are going to use is index.asQueryEngine function. This gives us a query engine object, and this query engine object can be used to now query to these documents with the help of your large language model. Okay, so now we do initial query of the documents, and remember guys that we have already set up the global LLM. Already we have set up with settings.llm. So that is why when you do query engine.query, it will automatically take the large language model that you have globally set up. Okay, so the query engine.query, and we are just passing it the question, what was the total amount of the 2023 Canadian federal budget? And you can see that it prints the response that the total revenue was 456.8 billion, and this was projected, and total expenditure was this much. Okay, now we know that we are able to query our documents. Okay, this thing is properly sorted. But that's not our purpose, right? Our purpose was actually to combine this with an agent and actually give my agent multiple tools that can actually work on this data. To do that, guys, first of all, we have to convert this query engine as a tool, because we need our agent to work with query engine, and agent only works with tools, right? So to convert my query engine into a tool, we have the query engine tool class. So basically what we are doing is we are having our query engine tool created, and I call it the budget tool because this tool is actually handling the budget data. So you do query engine tool dot from defaults. You basically pass your query engine into it, and you pass the name of the tool, which is Canadian budget 2023, and you give a small description. Okay, and now you have your budget tool created. Now we need to create multiple tools, guys, because we need to provide our agent multiple tools so that it can select the tool based upon the requirement and finally execute the task, right? So let's see how that goes. So we do register the tools with React agent, and now we are actually creating multiple tools. So for the first tool we are creating is multiply. So this is basically a function which takes two numbers and it multiplies them. And then to again convert this function into a tool, we use a class called as function tool. So all you need to do is function tool dot from defaults, and you pass the function in it. Then the same we do with an add function, and then we create an add tool as well. Okay. So now we have got three tools. We have got an add tool, we have got a multiply tool, and we have got a budget tool. And we basically pass all these three tools as an array to my agent object. Then how do we create an agent object? We are actually using a React agent class to create an agent object. Okay. And if you guys want to know in more detail about the React agent, guys, then you can watch my previous video on AI agent, where I have also gone in depth about what is a React agent and what is a React agent framework. Okay, I'll link out that video in the description as well. So if you want to create an agent, you just do react agent.from tools, and then you just pass the array of tools. Okay, you can keep the verbose as true here if you want to print something, but otherwise it's pretty straightforward. Now that my agent is created, it is time to chat with the agent. Okay, and you can see here that in this agent.chat method, I'm actually passing a question, and this question actually combines multiple tools together to give me the answer. So the question basically says, what is the total amount of the Canadian federal budget multiplied by 3? Go step by step using a tool to do any math. So here, not only I am using the budget tool to find out the budget, I am also using the multiply tool to actually multiply it by 3. So you can see that first is the total amount, and it finds out that the current language of the user is English, so I need a tool to help me answer the question. And it correctly finds out that this Canadian underscore budget underscore 2023 is the tool that I have to use. So this is the action, and the action input is what is the amount of the federal budget. And you can see that it finds out correctly that this is the total amount of the federal budget projected, and the expenditure is 496.9 billion. Now the next question is that I need to multiply this amount by 3, and it correctly identifies that the action is multiply. So it needs to use the multiply tool here. And what it does, it actually takes the 496.9 and it actually takes a second argument as 3, and it uses the multiply function, multiplies these two values and gives the observation as this. Okay. Now it says something about try again, could not parse the output. So obviously, okay, fine, it's not able to parse the output, and then it again does the input action input format, and now it actually multiplies this again. So basically it was not able to parse the output previously, so it is actually multiplying it again, which is okay. But now with the final step, it actually finds out that the total amount of the Canadian federal budget multiplied by 3 is approximately 1490.7 billion, and that is the answer it actually provides to us. Okay, so one step bottom was a mishap, but it eventually gave us the correct answer, and you can see in a step by step how it actually used multiple tools to come up with this answer, and also it was able to fetch the correct data from a RAG pipeline, that is a set of documents that we provided to this agent. Okay, so that was the video, guys. That was all about agents and how you can actually connect those agents with RAG pipeline. So one such advantage of this is that if you want to keep your data secure and you don't actually want to train a large language model on that whole data, then you can just use a RAG pipeline, create an agent, provide it multiple tools, and you can just query that data, do any calculations or manipulations on it, and provide the correct answers to your users. And if you also want to get the whole explanation of it, you can actually print out this whole step-by-step thing in your logs and find out if there is any issue or how the answer was actually calculated, and it's easier for you to later debug in future. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, guys. If you really like this video and you want to actually support my channel, then you can actually hit the super thanks button right down there, and you can donate something if you want. You can also join my channel, guys, and that way also you can support it. Also, if you do like this video, please do not forget to like this video and share this video with friends. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions for me, you can definitely share them in the comment section below. I would be really happy to address all of them. And guys, in the end, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe and hit the bell icon for future notifications of more such programming and coding related videos. I'll see you guys in the next video, guys. Until then, take care and bye bye.